then it has been started with chemistry, chemical engineering, but then it turned more and more into finance.
Sounds scientific to me. Geography guy. Politics.
But it's interesting how in UK a lot of managers they have
Yeah.
humanistic language or history or more general history. I didn't say anything about it, but sorry.
You're boosting your alumni association.
Well, I think it's impressive.
Okay.
Another tradition is.
So we have to stay. So good morning, everybody. Welcome, and for most of you here, and for the people all around the world who are watching us, good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone, wherever you are located. So on behalf of SIA, that is the Swiss Impact Investment Association, we welcome you all, and thank you for coming today. We have very, very limited time, so I'll try to get as much things done as much as possible. Believe me, I'm more often as a speaker. I have a very limited experience as a moderator. So myself, I'm Ben Banerjee. I'm the president of SIA, and I will be the moderator today. And there are 3 SIA members present. 2 are sitting there, and the third one, I think, is in the... So that is Christian, Karin, and the third one is Rishika. She's beside. So if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and ask. Is the presentation? Perfect. So what is SIA and who are we? So we started 7 years ago in Zug with a vision to promote impact investment around the Swiss financial sector and to make investments the Swiss center, Switzerland as a center of the epicenter of impact investment around the world. To make things a bit different from the rest of the people here in the building bridges, I'll tell you we have 2 things. To start with, we act, not only just speak. So we put our money where our mouth is. Till today, we have trained thousands of professionals all around the world. We have trained financial institutions, businesses on the topic of impact investment, but we have also supported hundreds of businesses around the world, from small SMEs to large businesses, with resources, whether it is funding, financing, operational, whatever. Secondly, this. You will soon notice technology and me, we don't go very well together. Secondly, we do not stay limited only with financial institutions and the government. We also have worked very strongly with the group who implements, and that is the business. We have been working together, and today I can say very easily we are by far the largest group of impact investors in Europe and the oldest in Switzerland, which doesn't say much, but anyway. We are just 7 years old in Switzerland. This is what I just said. We are supported by, I forgot to mention, we are supported very strongly by Canton of Zug, since we are based out of Zug. In SIA, we have 4 pillars. And how we do it with our partners. First, we are a platform of members. Like I mentioned, the largest impact investment group of Switzerland. We can say that we have if you put all our members together, we have 5 kind of members. One are the largest financial institutions, whether it is the Norwegian Sovereign Fund, European Investment Bank, pension funds from the Nordics, pension fund from the Benelux. Secondly, we have banks, asset managers, wealth managers, family offices. Thirdly, we have just businesses and funds and private members. Fourthly, we have families, a lot of old families from the west of Europe, from the German-speaking part of Europe, and even not only from Nordics, but even from US. So whether it's Rockefellers, Sparrows. So this is, and the last is, I think many of you may be aware that 4 years ago, I think approximately, we brought the head of 12 religions to Zug, and they committed a part of their assets for impact investment. So we are into that also. And lastly is the funds. So we are supporting a lot of funds all around Europe. We are also managing those. I mean, by managing, I don't mean administrative, but we are also, the allocation of the funds are into that. So these are the 4 pillars, what I can say our partners are. And one of the most important when I say private investors is that also it's businesses. So we have a lot of businesses. Although percentage-wise, as a member, it is smaller than the rest, but we have a lot of businesses, mainly SMEs, who are also either learning impact investment or want to be part of it or are already impactful. So this is where we stand with our members. Our next are who are our partners. Of course, to be able to implement all what we do, we need partners. And we have partners. So we have basically 4 kinds of partners. Like I mentioned, the first one is the Chamomile. Second one is our education. This, I said, we are educating financial institutions, SMEs. Thirdly, we have the TV show, which became very, very famous in the last 1.5 years, which started with the idea to make impact investment a site to increase the awareness of impact investment around the world. But today, we have been using this TV show also to get attention, branding, and also financial support investments for our funds, for our businesses, and for the funds we are supporting. But the red line always is it has to be impactful. We do not touch anything which is not impactful. And in this, I really keep on hammering. We are also involved with the National Advisory Board of Switzerland. We do not negotiate or we do not speak on anything which is not impactful. So that is, in that way, we are really pure player. Lastly is the certification. We certify businesses, whether they are impactful or not. And then we come to the next one. This is about, so how are we managing ourselves being such a small group? We partner with very, very strong organizations. So we are partnering with the UNDP, UNEP, EIB, I already mentioned, Dutch Nordic pension funds, impact funds, Al Gore's bridge funds, religious funds, and more. Secondly, we have been supporting conversion of charities and religious funds. I am sure many of you are aware that there's a lot of conversion going on at this moment, which philanthropic organizations are looking more and more into impact. And they're either converting their assets, they're changing it from philanthropy to impact. We work with a lot of Swiss embassies around the world who are promoting us, supporting us in going through that. Finally, we are working with the GSG, the National Advisory Boards of Impact Investment around the world. For example, Japan, Finland, Holland, India, UK, Germany, Taiwan, South Korea, but also with the impact investment boards of these countries. And of course, we are working with Dutch organizations. I think most of these names everybody knows. And this is not only Dutch, but also with the Finnish organizations, with the German organizations, and all that. Our activities are easy. We educate and promote impactful businesses and funds. That's what we have been doing from day one. We have been supporting businesses who are doing something impactful, whether it's on climate change, whether it's on agriculture, the whole spectrum of it since the day one. Then we educate financial sectors on the topic of impact investment, how to create impactful portfolios, sustainable portfolios. But this has been a long time we have been active with it. Like I mentioned, we are advising a couple of governments. We are also involved with the Swiss Regulatory Board on how to promote and support and facilitate impact investments using regulations. Last of all, we used to have very big international impact investment summits in Zug, where hundreds of people came from all over the world, including world leaders. But since COVID, the last 2 years, we didn't do it. But I think from next year, we start again. So this has been quite very well known around the world. Very shortly about me, so that's my email address. In any case, if you guys have any questions, ask it to our colleagues here. Otherwise, you can always send me an email, contact me. Just a little bit, I'm born in India, grew up in Holland. I don't know if anybody is here from Netherlands. They will, then you will be recognizing the Q7 wind park. So I was the initiator and one of the early investors in that. And then from there, we went to biogas, biodiesel, and then we spread further and further and further. And today, we are basically in every sector you can imagine. Speak around the world at the WEF, UN, whatever. I have been speaking about climate change impact investment since a long time. So this is a bit boring, I think. Yeah, I have written, I teach, whatever. So what I wanted to say is our planet at this moment is in a danger. It's really burning. Whether we are talking about the war, whether we are talking about environment, destruction, loss of biodiversity, climate change. A friend of mine, Dr. Petri Talas, who is the Secretary General of WMO, he mentioned that we have been repeating this the last few years. Bad news, bad news, bad news. And the news are getting bigger and bigger. Unfortunately, it's not helping very much. So that's why today I thought what we should do is just show some hope and share some good news. Because what are we doing and what we have to do? Because we have to get people moving. A friend of mine, I think most of you may not be knowing, Dr. Pachauri, who created IPCC, who got the Nobel Prize for it, who passed away, he had mentioned also, since I think 1960s or 70s, about climate change. Then we have other people who have been mentioning about climate change. Nothing has happened. In fact, the situation is getting worse. Our CO2 emission, everything. So we have to all get together and work at it. We have to save this planet, especially for not only for our children, but also for ourselves. If you look at the frequency and everything of the national global disasters, it's increasing. So the positive side is here in Switzerland, we manage one of the largest assets in the world. And Switzerland, I was in the NAB meeting 2 days ago. I was told, I was a bit surprised with that the maximum or the largest percentage of money going to impact investment is going via Switzerland. I assume it is because of the Swiss banking facilities. But still, the amount is very small. If you look at the global asset under management of 154 trillion US dollar, of which 40 trillion is sustainable and ESG, and I am told that 2.3 trillion is going into impact investment. Okay, I have some question marks on that, but anyway, that's a different topic. Majority of the impact investment goes to emerging market, but still it's relatively a very, very small part in the global aspect. The reason I think why it is like that is the issue remains the perception. Somehow, despite of all the evidences showing otherwise, most Swiss investment officers still look at emerging market as a high-risk area. And secondly, they do not yet, in my opinion, understand the real risk of social and environmental damages. Luckily, luckily with an apostrophe, pandemics like the COVID, the war in Ukraine has started slowly giving a shock to the financial system, making them more aware of what is going on. So maybe they should start taking this risk also under management, that if we do not look into this may be an issue. So we have to keep cautious on this. And where I worry a bit, and especially after all these meetings and everything, is that we still see that a lot of financial institutions, many of which are also our members, are trying to pack old products in new bottles, saying it's an old, it's a completely different discussion, but they are taking old, vague or not clear structured products, financial products, branding it impact, branding it sustainable. So we have to always stay aware of it. And we all know that financial sectors often need external nudges before it transforms. But the advantage is that the governments in advanced countries often have more influence on financial sectors than we think or than most of us imagine. For example, they can enforce transparency on the financial sectors, which is good, by the way, for us, because then we can not only measure, but we can also compare impact investments and their activities. So in conclusion, I invite you all to join our ecosystem of entrepreneurs, investors, financial institutions, governments, and service providers to support this transformation of assets into impact investment.